Hello everyone, and welcome back to Fire Emblem Three Houses, Cindered Shadows. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman, and today we're going to continue exploring Abyss. With me again, once more, is Jane. Say hello, Jane.
Hello, Jane.
Good. That totally wasn't rehearsed at all. And we're going to dive into the after battle and intermission sections before Chapter 3. Let's go. Oh, that load went very quick this time.
Alfric, how serendipitous that you have come to our aid.
I am relieved that I wasn't too late. I do hope my presence proved useful.
No doubt about it. We needed the backup.
So you're Alfric.
Professor, I do believe this is the first time our paths have crossed, is it not? Of course, I have heard all about you from Her Grace, the Archbishop. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Alfric. The Church has granted me custodianship of Abyss.
Seriously, why does he of everyone have a black and red outfit when everyone else from the church wears, like, white and gold? Like,
Very suspicious.
It's extremely suspicious, right? And it's like, so the Ashen Wolves are, like, against the machinations of the church. And then there's an official custodian assigned to them from the church? Like, what?
Maybe to make sure they don't
Get out of hand, I guess.
Right.
I suppose. Yet they really like him, so they must have like some sort of a bond with the guy. But anyway,
I don't know. I wouldn't trust him.
Yeah, no way. I won't as the player. No way in hell. But you look after Abyss.
Indeed. And despite my responsibilities, I am but a humble monk. I am sure you have already been told about Abyss's unique situation. For varying reasons, all of the inhabitants here are unable to live a peaceful life on the surface. People like the Dagtons and Almirans, who suffer undue persecution across Fodlan. The poor and the sick, who are forced into Abyss. Not to mention all the other unfortunate souls who ended up here. I believe it is my sacred duty to provide a place for those who have nowhere else to go.
Right.
And to do that, I'll destroy the world. What?
How? Enough, Claude. Please, forgive my friend, Alfric. We would love to hear more.
Claw
In
just
all
dishing out
honesty,
the...
I understand.
The sass. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I dearly wish I could provide a better life for my flock. But it would appear that Her Grace and most of the Church consider the existence of Abyss to be something of a nuisance.
That can't be true. No, Byleth would believe it, honestly.
I'm afraid so. Those within the Church who would see Abyss purged are swiftly growing in number.
That's the church for you. They make a big deal out of helping the helpless, when it suits them.
We can't just sit back and accept the way things are. We've got to
How does
fix
it
the
suit them
system.
to help them, though? Like,
Sure, I'm here to hide from literally countless bounty hunters. But
Um,
I'm not the only one in need. You're in a bad way too, Happy. You can't just let the church walk all over us.
like,
Too true. For the sake of all
pause
who
it
dwell in
to,
Abyss,
for a second.
yeah.
must help dear Alfric to turn the tide.
wait for Constance's mouth to stop moving. There we go. Yeah, like, how would it ever be of benefit to the church? Or, like, if they're against it in the first place, why change that now if they're, like, going to help them for any reason, you know?
Hold on, I'm thinking.
It's...
I was just thinking it was like, advertising their...
like their piety or
Do-goodiness.
something, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how... oh my god, my brain.
But see, the thing is, like, it's secret. Like, no one, at least none of the kids from the Officers Academy or anything know that it's here. It's a surprise when they find it.
Well, I think maybe the process of uncovering them would be included, like
Like, they secretly
It would be-
announce that, like, oh, and there's this group of people that we've been taking care of. We've been protecting them, and that's why no one knew about them, that type of thing.
yeah, like spinning it to make them sound good.
Right. Okay. Fair. That would make sense. More sense than anything else at any rate, but...
To have more faith in the church. And
Right.
everything.
But now that it's, like, people might discover that like the truth behind it. They're like, oh, now we gotta get rid of him.
It's like a political campaign.
Right,
almost.
right. That makes sense. Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
I am overwhelmed with gratitude. Your fervent support is all the reward I could ask for. As for you, Professor, I must beg a favor of you.
Ooh, what's the favor? And why is it always me that people are asking favors of?
They are eager students with no teacher to guide them. If you could find it in your heart to take them under your wing, I would be most grateful. Naturally, your official duties take precedence, so you need only help out when your schedule allows.
Wait a minute, Alfric. Where's this nonsense coming from?
I second that question. We have no need of a professor when we have you.
Dear flock, I am a mere guardian. I can protect you, but I cannot enrich your minds.
Enrich
Though I
your
call this
minds.
gathering an academy house, I have long lamented that it isn't truly so. Now, I am blessed with the opportunity to correct this. The professor who stands before you has garnered a great deal
The
of
opportunity
acclaim
to correct this by passing the
A most
responsibility off on
trustworthy
somebody
student
else.
teacher, to say the least. What's more, I happen to be acquainted with the father of this fine individual.
Ooh. How do you know my father?
I was born and raised in Garreg Mach, so I often had the opportunity to spend time with him. Your mother as well. She was a cherished friend of mine. I was even present for their wedding.
Huh.
With parents like yours, I have no doubt that you possess the kindness and patience necessary to guide these students.
But
It'll be fine. It's not like we're strangers anymore. Say, Alfric, don't you need to take care of those thieves?
Ah, right you are. Please, excuse me.
He's right. Now
And
get out.
One more thing, Professor. If ever you would like to hear more about your parents, I would be delighted to share my memories with you.
Ooh.
Very, very interesting. Alright, and that was the end of chapter dialogue, but we have to explore and chat with some people.
Cindered Shadows. The Rite of Rising.
So the Rite of Rising is the rite that the four prophets, or apostles I think it was, failed to perform, and thus failed to bring
Professor,
the goddess back.
To what do I owe this pleasure?
And that's
I
why
see.
they are now in exile. Or they went into exile, and the implication is that the four members of the Ashen Wolves are now their descendants. So, I want
Makes
to hear
sense.
more about my parents.
Ah, yes, of course you do. I will gladly tell you all that I know. Where to begin? If you have something particular in mind, please ask and I shall answer as best I can.
I think we all want to know about Byleth's mother, let's be honest here.
Right.
Kind and wise. I would often see her in the library, her nose always buried in a book.
What was my father like back then? Since we got the option.
Gerald was very much then as he
The
is
only
now.
option.
His knights would have done just about anything for him. Whenever he had time to spare, he would instruct the children of the monastery in combat and tactics. Just like those wide-eyed youngsters, your mother and I made a hero of him in our minds. When I learned that Gerald and Citri were to be married, I was quite surprised. Back then, Gerald was something of a mentor to me. As for Citri, she found it difficult to express her emotions. It was only when she was gazing at Gerald that I ever saw her smile. A smile that rivaled the very sun. His tales of the outside world must have seemed like a lifeline for one as frail and guarded as she.
Frail?
Indeed, she lacked the strength to travel beyond the monastery. The only souls she ever spoke with were a select few within the monastery walls. I can picture it now. The stories he told her, his striking words, and his boisterous laugh. Listening to him must have given her a great deal of hope. As for me, I could never have become like Gerald, as much as I wished.
Do I hint, or do I detect a hint of jealous, scorned lover backstory? You wanted to be like him?
I suppose I did. He would tell stories from a century ago as though he had lived them himself. No matter how fervently one studies the stories of old, that is no easy task. Professor, you traveled with Gerald before coming here. You must have seen a great many things, yes? Forgive me for overstepping, but do you not regret foregoing your travels to take up residence here?
Didn't really have much of a choice there, Elfric. Yeah, the Archbishop requested my service, to the point that my father was terrified at the fact that we were going to be staying at the monastery.
Heavy air quotes.
Yeah. Heavy air quotes, requested.
I see.
Blink twice if you're being held hostage.
It is not my place to question your decision. To shape young minds must afford you a unique perspective on the world. I am certain my unsolicited advice is nothing but a nuisance, but please, hear me out. It is my hope that you will live a full life, experiencing the world, fostering strong relationships with people. Do so for dear Citri, whose wish to experience such things shall regretfully never be granted.
That's why you asked me to teach the Ashen Wolves.
I cannot deny it. It is my own stubborn notion, one that Her Grace will likely not think kindly of. Beyond my personal motive, I believe that you alone can guide my flock to even greater heights, and perhaps you will learn from them as well. But I have taken enough of your precious time. Know that I am here for you, always.
He's got the sad puppy dog eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
Pray
Dreaming of his
me,
beloved
did
Citri.
those foul bandits whom we bested at the arena confess to anything?
Not a word. And they wouldn't name names. I got the feeling they didn't know much themselves. However, one thing is clear. Whoever hired them is after something here in Abyss.
Yeah, that's gotta be it. They must have been on a treasure hunt or something.
A treasure hunt here? I don't get it. What is there to find in these dingy tunnels?
Dingy tunnels that no one knows what's within or how long they've been here. What could possibly be here that would be worth taking?
But the notion is preposterous at best.
Never discount a wild hunch. Sometimes they're closer to the truth than you'd think.
Any lead will do, so long as it helps determine our next course of action. Please, go on.
As you wish, though again, it is quite far-fetched. You see, there is a long-standing legend here. It is said that deep underground, below even Abyss, is a place called the Chasm of the Bound, wherein lies the Chalice of Beginnings.
Ooh, that doesn't sound important at all. That's a, Chasm of the Bound or Chalice of Beginnings?
Chasm of the Bound.
You think?
Yes.
Alright. The Chasm of the Bound, says the voice in my head.
Huh. This is the first I've heard of it. So you believe Abyss is connected to that place?
Lots of twists and turns down here, so it's not the craziest idea ever. Must be well hidden, though.
I once happened upon an old document that mentioned a ritual called the Rite of Rising. The text was incomplete, so I was unable to achieve a full understanding of the topic. I cannot even guarantee the authenticity of what I read. But it stated that the Chalice of Beginnings is a sacred object, crafted by order of Saint Seiros herself. Saint Seiros apparently used the artifact to carry out the Rite of Rising, along with the 4 apostles.
What is the Rite of Rising?
It is a ritual that is believed to have the power to resurrect a life that was lost. However, the ritual failed. The 4 apostles bound the chalice, so that it would never fall into a mortal's hands.
The Rite of Rising, huh?
Ah, yes, the Chalice of Legend. My father mentioned it to me a very long time ago. A secret treasure of the church. A chalice, powerful enough to resurrect the dead. Exhilarating, no?
Quite. It is no small wonder that people...
Just casually, quite.
Even so,
Yes.
we still don't have much
I love
to go
Dimitri.
on. We must
He's so
gather
great.
more information about this legend at once.
I wholeheartedly agree. I will do all I can to track down more clues within the monastery. Although Garreg Mach's library is so well curated, I doubt any further records will be found.
Wondrous! We shall do all that we can as well.
Interesting. Did you notice what he said there about it being so well curated?
No.
So, Elfric said that the Garreg Mach library is so, and he paused, well curated, he said, that it will probably be difficult for me to find anything on the subject.
Excuse me.
That is an allusion to the fact that Sedeth very carefully removes texts from the library that he thinks are inappropriate or of a damaging nature to the church and disposes of them.
So he's censoring them.
Basically.
But
what?
He assumes.
I don't think your voice was coming across there. We just heard he assumes.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. Aelfric?
Oh, Aelfric, I think, yeah.
Aelfric. So he assumes that it won't be there because he thinks Seteth might have gotten rid of it.
Yes, and I can only assume that that's either because if this relic does exist, Seteth wouldn't want people to possibly come across the knowledge of it and maybe have that endanger the church, or maybe because it has something to do with the Four Apostles and the fact that they failed in the Rite of Rising, and that would probably be seen as some sort of a stain upon the church, maybe.
So maybe it's just an extension of trying to hide the abyss.
Possibly. There's any number of reasons, honestly. But yeah, Aelfric is not confident that he will find any information about it. But Sword of the Creator has been restored. We can now use it 13 times. That's good. Want to make sure we don't break the thing.
Number.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. That's. Don't like that.
To speak with Aelfric briefly, but he seems like a respectable man.
Ash thinks that Aelfric seems like a respectable man. Everyone has a lot of affection for him. Kind of reminds me of Lonato in that way. Yes, Lonato, who rebelled against the church and whom we shortly thereafter had to kill. Yeah. No, I didn't want to talk to Ash again. There we go.
I've got a lot of time on my hands down here, so I've been venturing even deeper underground. This place is loaded with winding paths and blocked off tunnels.
I am intensely curious if there's going to be any explanation for what, why all these tunnels exist. Why is there all this shit beneath Garreg Mach and beneath the continent? It seems like
there's more beneath the continent.
Well, there's all of the stuff with Garreg Mach and the tunnels and everything, and then there are a few times later on in the game. I don't think in Blue Lions, but definitely in at least the Church route and the Golden Deer route, where you do wind up going underground and you find stuff. But even then, the stuff that you find there looks and behaves very differently from all this stuff even. So it's even though I've played all 4 routes of the game at this point, I don't have a lot of insight into why all of this might be here. But, hidden passages.
That's what I said. Things will shift without notice here, revealing hidden passages.
Really?
Floors, everything. Gotta stay sharp. Actually, I'll level with you. Yuri and Constance are much better at scoping out that kind of thing.
Interesting. Oh, hey, Aelfric. Okay. Removing... Can I, Yeah. So just removing our friends on the left here out of the picture. Just, tell me that doesn't look menacing!
I thought that was a bloodstain for a second.
Just
on the ground.
Standing at the foot of a puddle of blood, yes, I am the benevolent watcher of the Ashen Wolves. I love them all so much. Maybe
why is he wearing red and black?
I don't know. It makes no sense.
An odd choice of color.
It doesn't match anything that any other member of the church wears at all.
Well, what are the colors of the Ashen Wolves?
The Ashen Wolves are whites and purples.
Okay, well then never mind.
What did you think it was the house colors or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's everyone in the church wears whites or greens or golds or some variation thereof. And then there's this.
The Ashen Wolves got their name from the beasts who guard the Blue Sea Star.
Blue Sea
The
Star.
Archbishop named the house herself, in fact. In spite of that, it seems she looks unfavorably upon our house of late.
What is the...
This
I
saddens me
don't know what the
greatly.
Blue Sea Star is. Is that like something from the legends? Like, I'm unfamiliar with this concept.
I heard Elfric came to Yuri's rescue in the attack that happened recently. That's just what you'd expect from someone as kind and strong.
Elfric,
as
who's
he
so
is.
kind and strong.
I can't believe he's single.
This rogue is constantly on about people's love lives. And Jane, you can't hear it, but you did hear Katsukan. She's the one with like the intense smoker voice. Like the 60-year-old lady who smokes a pack a day voice. It's really funny.
She's Deborah.
Oh, God.
Had a chance to poke your head in here, Professor? It's a fortune teller's room. Judging by all her mystical-looking doodads, I think she's the real deal, too. I wonder if she does matchmaking. Maybe she can help me sort through
my God,
my
Hilda, please.
helpless suitors.
Wow.
See, like, so we're almost at the point where I got up to when I was playing at the convention, and like to this point, there hasn't actually been a fortune teller in here, so I don't know what she does or who she even is. We can
She'll show up later.
We can change people's appearances, but she must show up later at some point, right? Like it has to happen. I want him to have his monastery outfit because it just looks baller. And then Constance and Happy are riding horses, so they'll just be in that class outfit anyway. Okay, here we go. So we have a few other areas to explore and people to chat with. And then we'll do the intro cutscene for the next chapter and call it.
Well, well. The Imperial Princess, the Crown Prince, and the next Sovereign Duke. Must be exhausting trying to suss out each other's intentions, huh? Nah, we get
Yuri
along
hitting the
great.
nail on the head.
I mean, we kind of have no choice. A petty squabble could start an all-out war. And it doesn't take a fancy
Claude.
title to have a hidden agenda. Isn't that right, Yuri? Cheeky. And off base. What do you think, friend? Do you think I'm off plotting nefarious deeds?
Who could start an all-out war? Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Yep. Do you know what's going to happen, Claude? Are you tuned into that? And yes, Yuri, as a matter of fact, I do think that you're plotting nefarious deeds.
Brutally honest. I love it. Even so, that's a bit much, wouldn't you say? I do what I need to get by. Nothing more than that. As for the others, they've all got their own struggles. But they're nothing if not trustworthy. Humbling yourself while promoting your friends. Gotta say, I don't hate this side of you.
My God.
Seems we're in mutual
Two
neutrality.
smarmy bastards smarming it up with each other.
We'll get along just fine.
Seem we're in mutual neutrality of one another. What a statement. Like, jeez. Watch that sharp tongue. Good lord.
Pardon the odd question, but something has been bothering me for a while now. Your hair.
Ah,
Was
interesting.
it always that color?
That is an odd question. But yes, if you must know, it was a different color when I was a child. How could you know that? Is it possible that we met before the academy?
Oh, that's right. She doesn't remember.
Yeah, I realized that we were discussing this when I played it at the con. What are you two talking about?
A long story. Now is not the time or place.
Yes, of course. My apologies.
Cat. Kitty.
Yes. I love Kit.
Oh yeah, here's the mysterious woman again. With her cadre of cats, apparently.
There was a time when I did much fighting. Then I was captured.
She looks like something out of
I escaped.
Dark Souls.
My home
Oh, for
is
sure.
far away now. My mother is waiting.
What is... Okay, everything this lady says... Like, are you serious right now? There was a time when I did much fighting, then I was captured, then I escaped. My home is far away now. My mother is waiting for me, but returning is... It is far away. What does that mean? Is she like...
She's from Dark Souls.
Yeah, she's from Dark Souls, just straight up. Like... Is she like a fallen goddess or something? Like... Is she from a different Fire Emblem game? I don't...
I worry
worry that I will
Why is she so fancy?
until I am very
Well, that's the like the generic class outfit for Gremory. So, which is one of the master classes.
Ah, so I'll be here until I am very old.
Like what?
It's kind of a weird way to say that.
Everything she says is very weird. Like, I don't.
My mother.
My mother. What? Like, I'm wondering if she's like a Manakete or something, maybe? Like,
Are there Manaketes in this game?
I don't think so. I mean, not like not like Corrin or like Tiki or like classic Fire Emblem Manaketes. Like, there's the possibility, sort of, maybe, but like,
Is she in? She might be another dragon.
maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's weird.
You can't see her hair, so.
The
Yeah.
sightings have stopped for now. I still won't let my guard down, though. What else? Notice how everyone's in high spirits? Know why?
Everyone's in high spirits because
It's
Master
because
Elfric is
Master
here.
Elfric is here. He's
Mm-hmm.
real special, that one. He saved my life, and lots of others here, too. He's earned some hero worship.
Like, I'll be more surprised if he doesn't betray us. Like, honestly. Aha.
Maybe they want you to think that. Maybe it's.
God, this is
It's certainly
killing me.
possible.
I'm on the verge
Yeah.
of remembering something. I can't shake the feeling that one of their names is also a food or something.
So, food or something? What? Linhart, what?
The record should be here some. Oh, hello, Professor. It's good that you've come. I realized that I missed an opportunity to congratulate myself on my military
And you needed us
achievements.
here for that?
But
Why?
now that you're here, I have an audience for it. Indulge me, won't you? Oh, behold, the proof that the utmost honor in combat belongs to none other than I.
Constance, what?
Von Nouvelle. What a relief to get that off my chest. Now,
Stroke.
where did Alfred get to? I must have words
She's
with
just
him.
like, oh, good, you're here. I can gloat about my achievements now. Oh, okay.
Am I having a stroke?
Like,
Don't suppose you're here for a drink, huh?
this guy's
They
still
aren't any better,
bitching
I'll tell
about
you
the
right
bad
now.
ale.
Maybe folks down here wouldn't be so awful if they could get their hands on something worth tasting. Who am I kidding?
Oh, boo-hoo,
Nobles are
I'm so
just as
sorry.
bad.
I'm so sorry that you have nasty alcohol. What a shame.
You've only been on the job a few moons, huh? No wonder you don't come off as a mindless church flunky. Plus, you don't flap your trap all the time. I appreciate that. I hope you never change, no matter how many years you spend
Okay.
with the annoying people up there.
You don't flap your trap all the time. I mean, you're not
Damn.
wrong, but wow.
For folks who've lost their homes on the surface, Abyss is all they've got. The place used to be nothing more than a den of criminals. who did
Is it
whatever
really
they
any
pleased.
different now, though?
Now, we got Elfric to keep an eye on things.
Oh, yes, Elfric, of
Stands
course.
at keeping people fed's the way to keep them calm.
Sounds like Elfric is raising his own personal army down here to overthrow the church. Bunch of people who already don't like the church, but who are loyal to him.
What do you require?
Well, we can repair our battalions. Or, well, replenish. Do we have any excess bullion? We do.
Will this one do?
So
Many
you...
thanks.
And
Will
you...
this one do? Many thanks.
Bouillon.
Bouillon! Bouillon!
Will this
Some
one do?
bouillon cube.
Many thanks.
Put that bitch in some soup.
Will this one
Delicious.
do? Many thanks.
Actually, we made a fairly decent amount on that last fight. I don't think we need to
soon.
buy anything at the moment, though. Strengthen your weapons. No, I think we're good.
I'll be. Abyss is a sprawling
The
place.
horns on this lady,
Some houses
Jesus.
like mine
That's
are
pretty
actually quite
amazing.
far from the center of town.
Like,
What brings me all the way here, then,
what,
you ask?
like, do you have to go sideways through doors?
Even a
Like,
glimpse of
do you
it.
take
Oh,
the
yeah,
helmet
that's a good
off?
Oh my god.
It's strapped to your head, because otherwise it would be bobbling all over the damn place.
Distribution of weight
Yeah, right?
is probably good.
God forbid she has
But-
any, like, hair tucked up under that thing.
Don't annoy Happy, or make her feel disappointed. You mustn't. Not ever. Okay?
I mean, I know why. It's because of the whole, like... Wait, did they go over this?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, they did. They did at the start of the previous mission, which you weren't here for, because I did that dialogue prior to the actual mission itself. So when Happy sighs, like, monsters warp in out of nowhere.
Sometimes Alfred gives out candy.
What?
Yep.
And you might get some
Yep.
too.
Yeah, when she sighs, monsters show up. Just
They all have crests, right?
yes. So I don't know what would cause that. like I don't know how that works. They mentioned it prior to the start of the mission because she was like, well, I could just sigh and summon a whole bunch of monsters to go mess them up, and they're like, we'd rather you not destroy the entirety of Abyss while we're standing in it, thanks.
Does she summon the demonic beasts?
I don't know. When in the very first battle, also, I guess I can move on because we have finished exploring. When you battle the Ashen Wolves in the first chapter, she sighs at one point and summons a sandworm, which isn't a demonic beast, I don't think. It's just a giant sandworm. So I don't know if she summons them or not, but also Chapter 3, The Rite of Rising, Search for the Chalice.
The answer is no. I will not allow it. It is far too dangerous.
Elfric says,
But if
no.
you can determine its
You
origin,
can't.
we may eliminate the very danger that vexes you.
You already know this, but there are plenty of folks down here who can't defend themselves. If these attacks keep up, eventually they'll find themselves in harm's way.
Yes, I am aware. However, for the time being, you must promise.
Until
to
what? You
refrain
find the
from
information that you
acting
said you wouldn't be able to find? Like,
Deerfluck has suffered enough as it is. You needn't take any further risks.
he just walks away.
He must really care about you guys. Most certainly. Yet, if we fail to nip this problem in the bud, I shudder to think what will transpire.
Like, I was gonna say, like, he thinks they'll just listen after he passed them off to us. like,
Let us venture into the deep, deep underground.
also, she just said just in the nip of time, didn't she?
She did.
I missed that when last I saw this cutscene. We're going underground? More underground?
Deeper and deeper still beneath the monastery, to the chasm of the bound.
Coco, you didn't hear a word Elfie
Coco.
said, did you?
I surely did.
And Elfie.
But we must read between the lines. Elfric wants a solution as badly as we do. And so, we shall seek out the Chalice of Beginnings and present it to the Church. If our enemies desire the object, this should halt all future attacks on Abyss.
If that's the only thing they want.
I'm not so sure about that. According to legend, there's some kind of binding that protects it from would-be thieves.
What legend did you hear about this?
We can't just walk up and take it unless we figure out how to break it.
Everyone else like, oh, I've never heard of this before. And Claude's like, yeah, but legend says. Like, wait, what?
Ascertain whether it is still bound.
No, that actually makes sense, though. Claude knows a lot about stuff because he's done a lot
Where is
of
this
research on the
chasm
sly.
anyway?
That's what I thought.
Heard
Yeah.
of the place, much less seen it.
It's more just, it must be funny, like, in universe, everyone's like, wait, how do you...
It appears to go deep underground. According to my superior instincts, it
My superior instincts. Okay.
chasm of the bound.
I suppose it's worth a look. I don't care about finding some old cup, but if it could help us protect Abyss, I'll support the cause.
You surface dwellers do not have anything else to
Meanwhile,
do
it's
with
like the Holy
present, do you?
Grail.
Basically, yeah.
Will you not?
The Holy Grail that they tried to use to bring back God.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Or no, it wasn't, it was Seiros that they were trying to bring back, I think.
Oh, I thought she
made the cup, but...
I thought she did it with them, though.
Not the Rite of Rising, I don't think.
No?
If I remember correctly from the intro to the DLC, It spoke specifically about how the 4 apostles tried to conduct the ritual to bring back Seiros, I think.
Seiros.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was the goddess. I don't know.
I mean, I could be wrong. Fortunately,
I could be wrong as well.
I mean, either way, I have it all on tape, so it'll be easy enough for us to go and find out later.
I mean, one of us is right, so...
I mean, what if we're not, though? What if it's something completely different?
Then I've completely misunderstood.
That would be horrible.
DLC.
Alright, we'll go with you, sure.
I don't have anything scheduled before my next nap, so I guess that's fine. Edelgard doesn't look...
He's right, Edelgard looks pissed.
Yeah, look at her eyebrows!
Like, I have plots and schemes to get
Feeling
to.
pretty lost right now. How long have we been walking? I'm guessing a full week.
A full week. It's probably been like... Yeah, I was gonna say, it's probably been like a few hours, Linhardt. Get over it.
Exaggerations aside, if this takes much longer, I'm concerned about our lack of food.
They just went on an expedition without any supplies. Oh my god.
Yeah, Edelgard, pragmatic one.
Constance, I find it rather curious how quickly you became fixated on the chalice. Care to explain?
Oh, no. Why would I be fixated on a silly little legend for some supposed ulterior motive?
Suspiciously specific denial, Constance.
You want the esteem. You think this will convince the church to help you restore your fallen house.
How could you possibly know that? Have you been snooping within the confines of my very mind?
I shall restore House Nouvelle to its former glory at all costs. It's practically
called out.
Whenever I see Nouvelle, I think Nutella. Delicious Nutella.
Wow. I don't know what I was expecting, but that wasn't it. That was not it. Which really, I should have, because, like, it's you. It's a rare day indeed that you don't have chocolate on the mind.
I was just about to say, I really want some Nutella.
What is House Nutella?
Just a few years ago, it was a house of Vikings in the west of the Empire. They had a long...
It was a house of biscuits in the west of the Empire. Wait a second.
Nutty chocolatey goodness. Spread far and wide.
I fear all I can do is ask forgiveness in place of my useless fault.
Oh, whoops. I guess the Empire must have destroyed their house.
Oops.
Then please accept my...
Save your breath. That will not be necessary. There is only one thing that I desire. For the sake of my parents, who fell courageously and selflessly in defense...
Oh, no, they just got destroyed in some sort of a battle for the Empire. Interesting.
Revive House Nouvelle.
They died in battle for the Empire, and their house became disgraced? Or maybe just fell out of power because they were dead, I don't know.
I have some questions.
For all that hard work, you were forced to live underground.
I can pause it.
Life's cruel.
Okay.
What are your questions?
So, their house.
Yes.
They were defending the Empire.
So it seems.
When did they perform the rite of passing that failed?
Like, hundreds of years ago.
So, how long has the Empire existed?
Since the church has existed, basically.
So I guess they were their family was defending the Empire before the rite of passing happened.
No.
Well, then why would they be underground if they were defending the Empire?
Well, that's what Happy's saying. Like, because like they fell into disgrace, Constance had to go into hiding, basically.
But aren't they all descendants of the apostles who...
That's my theory, and that's what I'm assuming, but it hasn't actually been stated at this point.
Oh, I thought that was stated.
No. Like even...
But it has something to do with the rite of passing.
I think it's the rite of rising, I think, first.
A rite of rising, rite of whatever, you know. Sounds the same.
Yes, so basically the rite of rising was a ritual that the 4 apostles attempted to conduct shortly after, I think it was the death of Seiros, and failed. And it was like the first anniversary of her passing or something, and it was like prophesized that she would return and that it would be the apostles who would conduct the rite of rising to bring her back, yada yada yada, and it didn't work. And as a result, the apostles put themselves into self-exile and scattered to the 4 corners of Fodlan, never to be heard from again. Cut to now, and we've encountered these 4 characters in the Abyss who are all here for different reasons. So, like, Balthus is here because he's hiding because he's got, like, 5 million different bounties on his head. Constance, we're now learning, is here because her family was killed in some sort of a skirmish for the Empire. Maybe they lost the battle and, like, the Empire lost territory or something like that. And as a result, her house was disgraced and she had to go into hiding, or she hid to hide her shame or something.
I see.
Right. And we don't know, I don't even know yet, because this is, like I said, just shortly before where I left off myself. We don't know why Happy or Yuri are here yet.
Okay, see, I was thinking that, like, their families have been down here since the Rite of Rising failed.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's, as far as I know, not the case.
Okay.
The opening crawl for the side story is like, one of the apostles went into the mountains, one of them went into the forests, one of them went to the sea, and one of them, which is the most interesting, and I think it's going to be the one who's Constance's ancestor, for reasons that we'll find out about in a minute, went to a town that never saw the light of day. And that's all we know about them. Like, that's the last recorded history there is of them that we know of. So,
Okay.
And what's interesting is if you look at, like, the unit status screens for the Ashen Wolves at this point, all of their crests are question marks. We don't know what they are.
Okay.
So, that's why I'm assuming that they're all descendants of the apostles, but there is a possibility that I'm wrong.
Okay.
Even though
Other question.
Yes.
I might be just misremembering or not remembering something, but are the crests visible on them anywhere? Like, any character?
I don't think so, no. Because if they were, then they would know, like, from birth if a noble child was carrying the crest or not. And you wouldn't have, like, situations like with Sylvain and Miklon, where, like, they didn't find out for a while that Miklon didn't have the power of the crest because it didn't manifest. Like, oh, it might just take a while to manifest, and then it never did. And then Sylvain manifested the power of the crest. So I don't think it's visible. It's not like, say, the crest of the Exalt, or the mark of the Exalt in Awakening that, like, Lucina has on her eye or whatever.
So next question.
Yes.
How does it manifest, then? How do they know?
There's different powers and stuff that, like, kind of gets glossed over. Like, in gameplay terms, like, things will show up, like, Linhardt's healing will be more effective or whatever. So, like, mechanically, they're trying to show how it would manifest, like, in story. Where, like, okay, maybe Linhardt is particularly gifted at healing, and, like, he, without the use of a staff or something, can heal wounds that even the greatest of healers are incapable of managing. Or, you know, maybe Lysithea can conjure great gouts of flame that are well beyond the ken of a 5-year-old or whenever it manifests. Things like that, you know. The Bladeds, Dimitri's family, have great physical strength. And so, like, you know, Dimitri can flip a cart with his bare hands and was, like, running through the mountains in full plate armor in the snow at 10 years old and, like, shit
I
like
remember that, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's, like, things like that where they just have kind of supernatural abilities. And then in the case of houses where the relic is present, they can use it and, like, it'll glow and stuff because they have the crest.
Okay, so the next question.
Story time with Jane. Let's go. Or 20 questions with Jane, but by all means, go ahead.
The house animals.
Yes.
Do they have anything to do with what the crests, what powers the crests give? So Dimitri, Blue Lion House. Lions are very strong. You know.
Right. I don't think so. I think no, they wouldn't, because, like, the head of the Golden Deer House always changes because the golden, or like the alliance has always had like different heads. Like it hasn't always been, I can't remember the name of Claude's crest. It hasn't always been that family at the head of the alliance.
Okay.
So no, I think those are just like the respective animals of the different kingdoms and or the alliance, but not necessarily related to the crests of any royalty there.
Okay.
That I know of. I could certainly be wrong. If anyone who's watching this is a greater scholar of the lore than I, which I'm not trying to say that to sound conceited, but like if you know and I'm wrong, please let me know. I'd like to correct myself.
So then, Happy, I'm guessing that's her crest's power.
It must be in
Yeah.
some way, yeah. And like it has something to do because like that personal ability she has, monstrous appeal, like it makes her attacks more effective against monsters, but it makes them more likely to target her. Like I'm assuming that has something to do with it as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not 100% sure yet, but
The 3 little hairs on her head up top there look like a claw.
oh, look at that! They kind of do.
Yeah.
Look at you and your little character details. Haha.
Haha.
Haha. All right, we'll continue this here, so we're not just blathering on and podcasting, basically. But good questions, though. Very good questions. Very astute.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Cut back to the starting line.
I like to learn.
Or maybe you're just unlucky.
And I like helping you learn.
What are you saying?
And helping our
I never
viewers learn, too.
intended to share that side of me with you.
Look at that. It's a good thing we didn't turn back. That looks mighty chasm-like, if you ask me.
Say, are we beneath the bridge in the monastery? Incredible.
Huh. I never thought I'd be gazing up at that bridge.
So that giant
1,000 times from
chasm,
way
again,
down below.
spoilers to the base game.
Are we
That
sure
giant
it's the right
chasm that
place?
Byleth falls into prior to the time skip is
It
this
is,
valley.
I think.
Oh.
I believe. I hope.
Constance, why are you hiding in the shade? Aren't you the one who insisted that
Here we go.
find the
Here's
chalice?
Constance's thing coming into light.
Fine. If you insist
Literally.
that I join you, then I shall. Satisfied? Oh my. I was quite rude just now. Please accept my humble apologies for treating you so foully. I presume too much to stand beside such noble paragons. Allow me to dig a hole to bury myself.
Oh my god.
No matter how deep underground we are, I guess sunlight is still sunlight. Or Constance.
What's going on?
This is what Coco is like in the sun. That's why she lives underground.
I fear I cannot guarantee that this is the chasm of the bound. I have almost surely wasted our time.
It's such a shame you can't hear her voice, because like her whole voice has changed and everything too.
We'll have you back in the shadows before you know it.
Cheer up, Coco. We need you.
I love that she calls her
Now
Coco.
I
It's
have
very
forced
cute.
you into a state of pity. I feel
Oh my
so
god.
very worthless.
It's like instant depression.
It is, yeah.
Is there nothing
Or Dimitri just wants to help.
Happy? Keep
Yeah,
Constance
he's best
moving.
boy.
If you don't start searching, we'll never find that damn chalice.
Happy,
Fine,
just
I'll just push her a
babysit
bit, I
the
guess.
depressed noble.
I must
I'll just push her a bit, I guess.
hands upon my filthy back.
You shall soil your hands upon my filthy back. Oh my god.
I sense magic in the air. There is something just ahead.
Jesus.
The binding spell, perhaps.
I don't feel anything at all. Wait. Actually, I hear something. Something big. And it's moving.
Perhaps there is something in place that is guarding the chalice.
Yikes. What is that thing?
Ah, these
It's like
things,
some kind of
yes.
gigantic toy. I don't have the slightest idea what's going on, but I know it doesn't bode well.
I don't know, could be fun. It's been a while since I've met an
Notice how
enemy
the
who
crest
put
of
up
Seiros is
a fight.
emblazoned upon the chest piece of this
Hey,
giant
you.
mechanical golem.
It's your master, pal. I'm gonna pummel you into my
Yes.
own personal shield.
No, I didn't.
Fair enough. I probably only did because I knew to look for it. So this, if I remember correctly, this will be the battle preparation screen. So this is where we'll call it. But I will point out the couple of things that there is to note that kind of hint at what's going on with Constance before you get to this chapter. Much like the whole thing with Happy and the monstrous appeal thing. Let's see here. Okay, so if we go to our units here, we go to Constance, whose profile has even changed here. So yeah, see, Mystery Crest. A crest long lost to history, occasionally does not consume a use during magic attacks. Look at that. I also said that, like, magic attacks. Like, whoops.
Magic.
Let's see, where is... Here we go. So her circadian beat there, right? Where she gets strength and magic +3 when indoors and defense and res +3 when outdoors. So she's aggressive when she's out of the sunlight and defensive and sad when she's in the sunlight.
Oh.
And, like, even the little icon for the ability shows that. Plus...
Oh, yeah.
Plus, if you notice, the undersides of her hair are dark. They're purple.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and, like, even, like, in the twirls are, like, the little, like, the twin tail things on, like, her bangs. I don't know what you would call that, Jane. You're the hairstylist person here. Help me.
Ringlets.
Ringlets. There we go. Thank you. I never would have gotten that. Like, even in her ringlets, the inside of the curl is purple.
Yes, I've noticed.
Yeah.
I was looking at that the whole time.
Yeah, it's super cool, and, like, at first you just think it's a cool design choice, but then it's kind of hinting at this whole, like, light side, dark side personality thing she has going on. That's
interesting.
Directly related to sunlight for some reason, which is interesting.
Huh.
Yeah. It's like it weakens her or anything, it just changes her personality, which is interesting.
Super weird.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's Constance, and we, like I said, we have monstrous appeal here for Happy. And let's see, what does her crest say? Crest long lost to history, occasionally does not consume a use for recovery magic. Which is actually weird, because she doesn't have recovery magic.
Huh, is she supposed to?
No, she's all about black magic, like attack magic. That's what Valkyries do. The art of black magic and can move again after combat. Huh, I never actually looked at that before. That's weird. I wonder if something to do with her backstory is going to be like she was supposed to be a healer or something, and then, like, something happened and whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Are Valkyrie like Pegasus Knights?
In, like, proper, like, mythology and lore, yes, I want to say yes. I think, like, in Norse mythology, specifically, Valkyries rode winged horses into combat, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Which, you would think then that Dark Flyer would be Valkyrie, and, you know, the mounted magic user would be something else, but I mean, as far back as Fire Emblem 8, if not further, we've had Valkyries, and they were always on horseback, so not sure.
When did they introduce the Pegasus Knight?
In Fire Emblem?
Mm-hmm.
Since the very beginning, since the first game.
Were they always female?
Yes. Yeah, there were no male Pegasus Knights until Fates.
Okay.
That was, like, it was a big deal because we had male Pegasus riders and female fighters, which had never been a thing before either of them.
Right.
Which was cool. Yeah, that was cool that they did that. Let me just see. Now I'm curious. See what the crests for the other two say. Crest long lost to history sometimes restores HP equal to 30% of damage dealt when using combat arts. Ooh, fancy. That seems very on theme for Balthus, so that's not particularly odd. Oop. And Yuri has occasionally prevents enemy counterattacks when using a weapon. Also seems very on brand for the trickster. Disorient them or some such.
Oh, he's a trickster, okay.
Right. Yeah, so Happy is the only one who has a, like, non-compatible with what she does crest, which is interesting.
Weird.
Yeah, that's definitely got to come up at some point. But that said, that is all of the preamble for Chapter 3. When we next come back, we will go ahead and do this mission, which is the mission that I left off on. I was partway through it when I restarted to do this recording. And it's quite the doozy, as you can probably see here. There's a lot of stuff going on. So it's going to be an interesting one. I was having some issues with it when I was doing it casually before, so we'll see if it goes a little bit more smoothly this time. But that will have to wait for possibly tomorrow. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us. I know these interim episodes are very low-key and chill, but I mean, for those of you who enjoy the story, as I do, it's very, very important that we take the time to analyze this stuff and talk about it. So, for those of you who stuck through it, thank you so much. And if you're just going to be tuning in next time with the combat, then we'll see you then. But, Jane, thank you again for joining us. Always good to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Thank you for asking lots of very astute questions. We can educate the viewer base on some of the finer points of Fire Emblem.
You're welcome. Wait, what? Did you say thank you?
Yeah, I did say thank you, so good job.
Okay, you're welcome.
Good job. You achieved the right effect, even though you didn't know what you were actually answering or why, so congrats.
Oh, I should have bluffed. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I meant all along. But until the next time, I hope you guys all have a good night. And remember, be good to each other. Bye-bye.
Reach for my hand, I'll soar